So, welcome everybody to this 31st class of the Bhagavad Gita study series. So, we have completed the Prathama Shatkam, the first 6 chapters with the 30th class. So, in 30 classes, we've completed the Prathama Shatkam. So, that is a significant milestone. And the Prathama Shatkam primarily dealt with the nature of the Atma. So, in this class, we plan to revise the 6th chapter, which we've just now studied, and also start looking at a preview of what is to come in the next 6 chapters. So, I will also do a summary of the Prathama Shatkam. But since we've been studying the Prathama Shatkam for so long, I know you'll all be curious, so I thought I'd give a preview of the Madhyama Shatkam before going and revising the Prathama Shatkam. Okay? So, but first we have to revise the 6th chapter, which we've just now studied, which is a very important chapter on yoga and the lifestyle and destiny of a yogi. Okay. So, Krishna, first question. Krishna gives several definitions of yoga in the 2nd and the 6th chapters. What does Krishna refer to by the term yoga in the 6th chapter? Can anybody answer that?
Meditation, dhyana.
Yoga by and large refers to dhyana. It refers to meditation. So as you can see here, by and large, yoga refers to meditations. In fact, Vyasa's commentary on the Yoga Sutras begins with Yogaha Samadhi. Yoga is Samadhi. So that's how the Yoga Sutra commentary begins. Okay. Second question. Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can all hear me okay. Yeah? All right. By using the term yogi, who does Krishna refer to? Anybody wants to answer? By using the term yogi, who does Krishna refer to? Anybody?
Meditative.
Yeah, Krishna by and large refers to a meditator by the term yogi. The characteristics, traits of a yogi you can see here. So, what are the characteristic traits of a yogi? The yogi is number one, has a mind that can easily be drawn inward into meditation. This is called shamaha. Shamaha means calmness of the mind. Then there is what is called damaha. Damaha means control over the senses. So the yogi is one who has the ability to control the senses, not by force, but with ease. And this is the very important thing because through yoga, you find pleasures which are out of the world. It is outwardly pleasures called hlada, and that comes from meditation and through yoga practice. And thirdly, the yogi is one who's not given to excesses, excess food, excess effort, excess austerity. No, yogi maintains balance. So this is all is what is meant by the term yogi. All right. Now, what is meditation meant for? Anybody?
Calm the mind.
Yeah, meditation is, yeah. Anybody wants to add some more?
Jnana and Nididhyasanam.
Yes. So in meditation is to calm the mind. So meditation is for making the mind calm so that it's fit to receive knowledge. Jnana yoga praptihi, to attain the knowledge. Otherwise, with a mind that is not settled, there is no way one can attain the subtle knowledge. Then, after this Shramanam and Mananam, that is, you listen and absorb all this and understand the meaning of this, you have to internalize everything, right? So that internalization is done through another type of meditation called Nididhyasana, assimilating what has been studied and understood by reflecting on the features of the Atma in meditation. That is, you are the Atma. You are not this body, you're not this mind, That is the fantastic thing about this. The, even the body is clear. You can get an understanding. Oh, there is something else that lives in. This is just a temporary abode. Bhoga ayatanam. It is an abode for experiencing the world. That's all this is. This body. So if the body doesn't look good, that we won't be worried. But then comes the question of the mind. What, as I get old, my mind is not sharp. My mind starts to forget things. But Vedanta comes and says, no problem. You are not the mind. You are the witness consciousness. The mind is just a screen. As you get old, the screen becomes dull. So what's reflected on that is not bright. When you're young, the image is bright on the screen. So this is the powerful aspect of Vedanta. When you have the understanding, you are not the mind, there's such a ease because you are the witness consciousness beyond the mind. Okay. All right. What are the six portions into which the sixth chapter is divided? Anybody wants to say? Six portions into which it's good to understand how every chapter is divided because we have to understand the logical flow in every chapter. So I'll
Bahir-
put it here. Yeah.
बहिरंग साधनानि विशेष साधनानि ध्यान स्वरूपम ध्यान फलम ध्यान प्रतिबंध परिहार्यम and
Yoga Brashta. Yes. So Bahiranga Sadhanani refers to general discipline observed daily for a yogi. This means not eating too much, or general calmness of mind, not getting attached to too many things. The moment you are attached to something, it can take your mind away. So these are general disciplines. Bahiranga means external. Bahiranga literally means external. Here it means daily general disciplines. And then Vishesha Sadhana means special disciplines, specific disciplines before and during meditation. Where to sit, how to sit, all those things. How to focus your mind, how to motivate yourself to sit. And then the nature of meditation, dhyana swarupam, the true nature of meditation. Then dhyana phalam, the fruits of meditation. Then dhyana pratibandha pariharo. Pratibandha, obstacles to meditation. Parihara means remedies or rectifying this. Dhyana pratibandha cha pariharo. So obstacles and remedies to meditation. Um, Remedies to these obstacles. Then Yoga Brashta, finally we saw the one, the destiny of a yogi who falls away. Brashta means one has fallen away from the path of yoga. How he or she, what is the destiny of this yogi? So that's how the sixth chapter is divided. Okay. What are the five Bahiranga sadhanas or the external disciplines? General disciplines, principles a yogi has to follow every day. What are these five Bahiranga sadhanani? Anybody wants to answer?
vairagya, samatvam, self-control, self-discipline, and self-effort.
Correct. Vairagyam means dispassion. So this is the general discipline. Not getting too attached. The moment you get attached, the mind that you worked so hard to make calm will get clinging. So dispassion, vairagyam, not getting too attached. If something good comes, enjoy, but don't go craving for something. Then samatvam, balance of mind or equanimity. Try to keep your mind equanimous at all times. Then self-confidence. Don't put yourself down. Because the words bandhuratma atmanastasya enatmaiva atmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vattade atmaiva shatruvate. So the mind is the greatest friend of a person. It can be the worst enemy of a person. So you should have self-confidence. Don't let the mind be your own enemy. Don't put yourself down. Then prayatna, self-effort. First shakam, the main thing is prayatna. In the second shakam, we'll see it's Ishvara Anugraha. There's certain things you can do. For other things, you need a little bit of effort. That is called Ishvara Anugraha. Then discipline, self-control, damaha. This is what we talked about. So these are the five external disciplines one has to follow. Then Krishna says that there is one ingredient that is the core and central to both sannyasa and karma yoga. What is that ingredient? Renouncing the fruits of action with a higher goal in mind is both sannyasa and karma yoga. Bhagavan says that in shloka number uh, 2, 3, all this. So Bhagavan says, renouncing the fruits of action with a higher goal in mind is both karma yoga and also it is anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na nirajnir na chakriyaha. One who does their duty without depending on the fruits of action is both the sannyasi and the yogi, not one who performs rituals and one who doesn't perform rituals, one who's without a sacred fire. Not the external sannyasi wearing a sacred saffron robe. The external sannyasi, they don't have any rituals to do. They have very little things to do. They don't have to light a fire to do the puja. So Bhagavan says that renouncing the fruits is both sannyasa and yoga, karma yoga. Okay. In which shloka does Bhagavan allude to the fact that the lower limbs of yoga, like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, are more important to practice specifically to attain mental stability for the yogi as compared to meditation. But for the advanced yogi, meditation is more important than some lower limbs of the asanas. Bhagavan very clearly says this. He very clearly tells Arjuna, you are not suited to go sit and meditate and do nididhyasana. Sannyasa life is not suited for you. For you, the lower limbs of yoga, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, all these uh, attain mental stability for the beginning. You're a beginning yogi. So this is what is important for you, more important. I'm not saying don't meditate, but this is more important because you don't have the mental stillness to sit and meditate. Do you know in which sloka Bhagavan says that?
5.
Yeah,
Aruruksha Muneriyo.
yeah, isn't that 3? So that I thought was 3. Let's see. You're correct. Arurukshor Munet Yogam Karma Karanam Uchyate Yoga Rudasya Tasyaiva Shama Karanam Uchyate. For the yogi who wishes to climb the path of yoga, karma is said to be the means. For the one who is already established in the state of yoga, shamaha, sitting still in meditation, is said to be the means. We just saw the word shamaha. Okay. The word atma or atma just means self, can refer to different entities in different contexts. It can mean mind body complex or simply an individual. Let's see, is that a question or answer? Okay, maybe I've written the answer here. Okay, I'll just go. I wanted to ask you, what are the 3 things that the Atma stands for? Atma stands for the mind-body complex, or just simply an individual. When you say Atma, it can refer to the individual. Atma can also refer to the mind. Atmeva Atmano Bandhuhu. The mind is the friend of a person, of an individual. Atma eva Atmano Bandhuhu. The mind alone is the friend of an individual. Atmaiva rupu atmanaha. The mind alone is the enemy of an individual. And then it refers to the consciousness. Okay. And here in this, I think I was going to ask which shlokas do you find these 3 definitions? Anybody wants to answer that?
Uddiratman.
The Yeah, so sloka, let's look at the sloka 5, 6, and 10 refers to the mind on the Bahiranga Sadhana. So let's see what that's. This is important because Atma can mean these are the Granthi slokas, the twisted slokas. Let's look at this. Uddharedatmanatmanam nahatmanam avasadaye atmaiva atmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Let them lift the self. This is the mind-body complex by the self, by the mind-body complex. Let them not lower themselves. The sphere themselves is individual. The self, the mind-body complex alone is the friend of oneself, and the mind-body complex alone is the foe of oneself. So here it refers to the mind-body complex. Then 5, 6, we said 5, 6, and 10, right? So you can see in 6 also. 6 बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्ततैवात्मैव शत्रुवत्. So even the not just the mind, even the body is important. Only by keeping the body in good condition, you can improve yourself. The body, if the body is diseased and you're not taking care of it, the mind won't be sharp. So both. And also it comes in the 10th. I'll skip the 10th for now. And then the mind is found in the Vishesha Sadhana 7, 14, 15, and 20. We just look at one example of the 7. So if you look at Shloka 7, Jitatmana Jitatmana Prashantasya Paramatma Samahitaha Chitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu Taha Manapamanayo. The supreme self, the mind of the self-controlled and the peaceful is balanced in cold and heat, happiness and sorrow, and honor and dishonor. So here it refers to the mind. And the third definition is consciousness. This is found in Shloka 18, 19, and 20. So let's go to 18. Okay, what does 18 say? 18 says, Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevavatishtate nispruhal sarvakamebhyaha yukta yidyuchyate tatha. When the fully controlled mind rests in the Atma alone, here Atma refers to the consciousness. You can't rest on the Atma because Atma has no form. You can rest on the thoughts of the Atma. What are the thoughts of the Atma? You can only, because Atma, you can't have a grasp of the Atma. It is aprameyaha, by definition, is incomprehensible. So how do you know what Atma is? By negating what the Atma is not. Neti, not this, not this, not that. Thoughts on what the Atma is not. Atma is not the mind, Atma is not the body. Atma is the silent witness to the thoughts in the mind. So that is the rooting yourself in the Atma. This is for the consciousness. Okay, now we shall go to what are the 8 specific disciplines your yogi has to follow before and during meditation. These are the Vishesha Sadhanani, the specific disciplines. Anybody wants to answer those? Anybody?
These
The
are the
long list.
Niyama and
Yeah, these are
Yama.
the niyamas. Yeah,
Yamas.
they are the deshaha, the place of meditation. Kalaha, the time for meditation. Asanam, preparation of the seat. Sharira sthiti, the body posture and the stability. Prana samyamam, relaxed breathing. Then indriya nigraha, sensory restraint. Mano nigraha, mind mastery. Nigraha means restraint, complete control. Buddhi nishchaya, this is important. conviction regarding the necessity and the utility of meditation. Okay, what does Bhagavan say about the meditation posture and in which shloka he says that? Anybody wants to answer?
Should not be too low. Should not be sitting too
Correct.
high. Uh,
Correct. So Bhagavan says, Shuchau deshe pratishtapya sthiramasanam atmanah natyuchrutam nati nicham chailajina kushotaram. So Bhagavan, he talks about the posture. So here and also in the next one, he says, Samam, where is that? Samam, yeah, posture. Actually, it's this. Um, Samam kaya shiro gripam dharayanna chalam stiraha samprekshya nasikagram swam Dishashchanavalokayan, keeping the body, head, and the neck erect in a straight line. The important thing is the spine has to be straight and holding still and steady, gazing at the tip of the nose without looking around. In fact, this is perhaps the most important thing. Whatever activity you're doing, sitting on the couch, that's the worst thing you can do. The spine has to be erect. Sitting on a couch and working, you will immediately see your mind will become lax. So the very important thing here is the spine has to be very straight. Meditation posture. So we saw one example here, posture for meditation. We saw Vajrasana, right? So the bottom is raised. This is what he says, not too low, not too high, or you can use a Caesar bench. This keeps the spine straight. So if you sit on the flat on the floor, your spine becomes curved afterward. It's very difficult to maintain the erectness of the spine. Whereas if your bottom is raised, you can maintain erectness of the spine. So it's a very important point. Okay. In shlokas 14 and 15, Bhagavan says, thinking of me as the supreme, abiding in me, all these things. What does me mean here? Does it refer to Mr. Krishna, the God incarnate on earth? This is called Ekarupa Ishvaraha. Krishna, the incarnation of God on earth. Does it refer to the cosmic Ishvara, the cosmic form of Lord? Ishvara has the entire universe. The entire universe is Ishvara. Anekarupa Ishvaraha. Or does it refer to Nirguna, attributeless Ishvara? This is the Brahman. Which one does in 14 and 15, when he says, thinking of me as the supreme, all those things, what does it refer to? I can pull shloka 14 and 15 if you want. Let's go to, yeah. Prashantamanasam प्रशान्तात्मादिगतभिः ब्रह्मचार्यव्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीत मत्परः. Thinking of me as the supreme. You see the word me as the supreme. Who does me refer to? 14, and it also comes in 15. So in the 15th sloka, Bhagavan says, युञ्जन् एवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति. Residing in me. Who does me refer to? Mr. Krishna, or Krishna as the entire universe, or does it refer to the Nirguna Brahman? What does it refer to? Anybody wants to answer? It's a very important point. So one of you has to look at that, see the answers, and you can answer too. That's fine. But it's very, very important. Everybody's quiet. Anybody? Anybody wants to take a guess? Very important question. Fatya, Ravi?
I initially thought it depends on the level of the sadhaka. I
Yes.
just saw your answer as the Nirguna Brahma, but
Yeah, the level of the sadhaka depends on the bhakti. So that's a different thing. There
yeah,
are three types of bhakti. First is the lower level of bhakti where it's just one God, and that is called Manda Bhakti. Oh, this God, I pray to Krishna, he'll give me blessing, make sure that I do things well, all that give me money. Then it's wonder, Ishvara as the entire universe. That is called Madhyama Bhakti. Then the final stage of bhakti is what? Aham Brahmasmi. That consciousness resides in me as the Atma. And that is what Bhagavan is referring to here. Mat samstam adhigacchati. Okay? So, and he's saying those always residing in me. And mat chitta yukta asita mat paraha. Me as the Supreme. What is he referring to? Me here refers to this Atma that is living inside me as the supreme Brahman, the consciousness that is also everywhere. It is like the inner space and outer space. The space within the building is called, you call it the inner space. So, in the context of the body, the consciousness is called Atma. But the same space is there everywhere throughout the universe. Can you separate space? No. You are just giving, in the context of this body, it's called inner space or the Atma. In the context of the home, it's called inner space. Outside, it's outer space. Okay? So, me refers to the Nirguna Brahman of the attributeless consciousness. You cannot visualize the attributeless consciousness, but what you can visualize is the consciousness present in you. You cannot directly visualize it, but you know the consciousness present in you as not a mind, not a body, but a silent witness, the Sakshi Swarupam. This is the revealing factor. Then you know, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that same witness that is prevalent everywhere. Understood? Anybody has any questions here? So there are three types of bhakti. The Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, Anekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, and for the Jnani, it is Nirguna Brahma Bhakti. That is Aham Brahmasmi. Anybody has any questions here? So if it's not clear, one more question. In which sloka does he first clarify what me means? It's not clarified. He's in this slokas, the two slokas that we saw, 14 and 15, he just says, Mat samstam adhigacchati, Mat paraha, me as the Supreme. He doesn't say where that me lies. Where does he first clarify what that me means? Anybody wants to answer? It's also very important.
I think he starts to say that I am in everybody. You should see me in all the other living beings, and also you should see me in in ourselves.
Yeah. He clarifies this in Shloka 18 and then in Shloka 25. He does it indirectly by saying, rest the mind in me, and then he says, rest the mind in Atma. See how he says this. Bhagavan is full of tricks. Bhagavan, Krishna is supposed to be naughty, right? This is how he kind of tests our attention. See, he doesn't tell it exactly. I am the Atma, he does not say. What does he say? In one shloka, he says, rest the mind, mat samstam adhigacchati, rest the mind in me, and me, the Supreme. And then he says, rest the mind in the Atma. Then you know, me refers to the Atma, or it is the Brahman residing in the body as the Atma. So let's look at 18 and 25. 18. When the fully controlled mind rests in the Atma alone. See, previously he said, when the rest in me. Now he says rest in the Atma alone. So in 25 he introduces, then in 18 he introduces, then again in 25. Shanai Shanairu Paramen Bhudyadriti Gruhitaya Atma Samstam Manakritva Nakinchitapi Chintayet. With the mind placed on the Atma, here Atma refers to the consciousness. So 18th and 24th, he clarifies that. See, it's all it's indirect. Bhagavan says, reside your mind in me. The greatest yogi is one who resides in me, mind in me. And then he says, rest your mind on the Atma. Is that understood? Very important point. Very, very important. Bhagavan plays a lot of tricks. Anybody has any questions here? Very, very important. This one. Everybody is quiet. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or middle, so.
Again, when you say Atma, you'll have to go back to the definition of Atma, right, Ganeshji, which is basically either the mind, consciousness, or the individual.
Correct. It depends on the context. So Sanskrit is a live language. Remember, we saw this example. Ajaha. What does aja? Ja means birth. Ajaha is the unborn. It refers to the Atma, the consciousness. It has no birth, no death. Ajaha can also mean God. So you have to use the context. So everything is based on the context. Sanskrit is a live language. Okay. Anybody else has anything on this aspect? Okay, we'll go to 13. Moderation in eating is a key component for all forms of yoga done to still the mind. In which shloka does Bhagavan highlight this aspect? You have the answer, so you can tell. Bhagavan highlights it in the 16th shloka. Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikantamanashnatah nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. Yoga is not possible for one who eats too much, and verily not for one who eats too little, not for one who sleeps too much, and not indeed for one who remains awake too much. So yoga is not extremes, it is moderation. What are the two types of meditations you find in chapter 6? We already covered it, so you should be able to answer.
Is
You
this
should
the
be able to
lower
answer.
limbs, the actual meditation?
What's that?
We spoke about the lower limbs and the actual meditation, right? First form is the physical yoga, and the second form is the actual meditation.
No. So one is called upasana. Upasana means resting the mind on something to still the mind. So throughout the Yoga Sutras, they mention alambanas, swapna nidra jnana alambanam va, using our prachardana vidarana pyampa pranasya, using the inhalation and the exhalation. These are all anchors to still the mind. You rest your mind or some object, and your mind settles down. So these are all anchors. Okay? Or Vishayavati va pravritti utpanna manasah sthiti nibandhini. When sometimes you feel this nice sensation, the taste, you smell roses, and just uh, stick with that, and it'll settle the mind. Sometimes you have nice taste that comes in the mouth. Stick with that, it'll settle the mind. All these are valid. Then Patanjali finally says, Yatapi matatyanatva, by whatever means possible, try to still the mind. So these are all called upasana, to still the mind. And Bhagavan mentions that in shloka number 12. तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपवेश्यासने युञ्जात् योगमात्मविशुद्धये. There, making the mind one-pointed, restraining the activities of the senses and the chitta, seated in an asana, let the yogi perform yoga for purification. So one-pointedness is referred to. Then Bhagavan talks about Nididhyasanam in Shloka 18. We've already seen Shloka 18, when the fully controlled mind rests in the Atma alone. Yatha viniyatam chittam atmanyeva vatishtate. On the thoughts, so this involves thoughts. Once your mind has steadied down, Patanjali also talks about samyama. Once the mind, you get samadhi, you can focus attention on anything you want, and you gain insight into that. With a restless mind, you cannot shine it like a torchlight. It's like diffused. Whereas with a focused mind, you pinpoint and shine a bright light and things visualize. So here you understand the nature of the consciousness. How do you understand? When you see the thoughts coming in the mind, you see there's a witness to the thoughts. So the thoughts are not you. You are the witness, the consciousness. Very important, very, very important point. This is the pinnacle of Vedanta, the liberating aspect of Vedanta. And how do they differ? They differ. Difference between upasana and nididhyasanam. The difference is that upasana is the initial stage where you're trying to meditation on objects to settle the mind, done prior to the serious study of scriptures. Yogic meditation, including samadhi, they all form under upasana. Then nididhyasanam, what do you do? First, get the mind ready. That's how they do it in the ancient days. Then you study the scriptures, then understand the scriptures, the knowledge of the Atma, and then nididhyasanam, internalize by really knowing, oh, I am not the body and the mind. Understood? I am the witness consciousness. Sakshi Swarupam. Very, very important. What are the 7 definitions of samadhi given in shlokas 20 to 23? Anybody wants to say? 7 definition of samadhi given in shlokas 20 to 23. Bhagavan gives 7 definitions of samadhi. Very important. Not very important. It's nice to know. So he gives many definitions of samadhi in 20 to 23. Anybody wants to say what the definitions are? Chitta uparamanam, total tranquility of the mind. Atma darshanam, so these are definition of samadhi. Total tranquility of the mind. Then when there is samadhi, witness of the thoughts in the mind. Atma darshanam. Then what is samadhi? It's the highest state of bliss. Atyantikam sukham. This is what Yoga Sutra say. Highest state of bliss. Tattvanishta, abiding strongly, like being one's own center of gravity. Remember the gyroscope video we saw? When you spin the gyroscope, the wheel, you cannot turn it. It's just rotating. You cannot, whatever you do, you will start turning. That is the thing. It is Tattvanishta, strongly abiding. It's like a black hole. It just hold you like that. That is the power of samadhi. Then Atyantika Labhaha, the greatest attainment one can hope for. Atyantika Dukkena Nivritti, freedom from even the heaviest sorrow. Dukkha Sanyoga Viyogam, disassociation from association with sorrow. The mind naturally wants to associate with sorrow. This is dissociation, free from depression. Anirvinnam. So yoga, anirvinna chetasa. Yoga has to be practiced with undepressed mind. In Vishnu Sahasranam, this Bhagavan is called Anirvinna Sadamashi. Okay, so those are the definitions. Who does Krishna consider to be the greatest yogi? Anybody wants to say? Who does Krishna consider to be the greatest yogi? Krishna considers the greatest yogi as one who, through the likeness of the self, oh, there is the same consciousness shining in me as in other beings. Atmopam yena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkam sayogi paramo mataha. Why is it the greatest yogi? Because this person knows the truth. We saw the example. There is sun shining. There are lots of pots with water. Remember, we saw this example. Pots, let's say, filled half with water. In every pot, there's a reflected light. And what does the light do? It illuminates the inside of the pot, the reflection of the sun, right? Every pot, there's the sun. Now, when you pour the water into another pot, the reflected light is not in this pot because there's no water. It goes into the other pot. Like that, the body is like the pot. It provides an enclosure for the Sukshma Shariram, which is the water. And what is illuminating all this? There's one consciousness, like the sun. And there are a lot of many reflected consciousness. But there's one consciousness illuminating everything. So the greatest yogi is one who sees it is one consciousness that is it's in me as well as in other beings. Okay. What are the three recipes Bhagavan gives to still the mind? Anybody wants to answer? We saw that Bhagavan gives three things: practice, dispassion, and also self-control. So dispassion and self-control, it goes one on one. Practice is very important, but without clinging to the results. Oh, when will I get this? When will I get this? That's dispassion, vairagyam. And then self-control, dhammaha. So these are important things. He says that in 35 and 36. Bhagavan says, Asamchayam mahabhavo manodhurnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gೃಹ್ಯತೆ. And then in the 36 he says, Asam yatatmana yogaha dushprapayati me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayataha. For the yoga is difficult to attain for a person of uncontrolled mind, self-fearless mind. But for the self-controlled person who strives by the right means, it is possible to attain. What does Krishna tell about the destiny of a yogi who does not achieve success in this lifetime? Anybody wants to answer this question?
It's not wasted, so it'll go with him in his next life.
Very good. Yeah. Bhagavan says, Ne partha naiveha mutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana krit kaschit dhurgatim tata gacchati. Not verily here, nor in the next world is there destruction for these people. No one verily who does these acts of yoga will end up in a bad state, oh my son. This is what Bhagavan says. And he goes on and he says, Prapya punya kritan lokan ushitva shashvati sama shuchinam srimatan yehe yoga prashto bijayate. Having attained the righteous worlds where people have done great righteous deeds go to, not having dwelt there for everlasting years, thousands of years, and Shichin and those who have fallen from the yoga in a previous lifetime will take birth in the homes of the pure and the wealthy of knowledge. And then he even goes on further and he says, oh, they're born in the family of wise yogis. A birth like this is verily very difficult to attain in the world. Athava yoginam eva कुले भवति धीमताम् ये तद्धि दुर्लभतरम् लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्. Then he says, there they will regain the knowledge from the previous births and strive more than before for perfection. Tapratham buddhim sayyogam labate paurvadehikam, from previous births, and yatate cha tato bhuyaha, they will strive more hard than before. Some siddha to get perfection. Oh, joy of the Kurus, Bhagavan says. And it goes on like this. By that former practice, in spite of themselves, they are pushed into the path of yoga. Even one who wishes to know about yoga is better than those who perform Vedic rites. So all you need to know is just wish to know about yoga. That will push you in the right direction. And the yogi who strives with the right effort is purified of all sins and perfected from many births. They reach the supreme goal. And Bhagavan catapults the yogi into outer space. Tapasvibhyo dikho yogi jnanebhyopi matodikah karmebhyastadikho yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. So that completes the revision of the sixth chapter with these 19 questions. Okay. I was planning to give a preview into the Madhyama Shakam. So I prepared some slides to give a preview, but we only have 12 minutes. So maybe I'll give the preview later. So probably next class, maybe I'll summarize the Pratama Shakam and then go to the preview of the Madhyama Shakam, if that's okay with everybody. We just have 12 more minutes, so probably not a great idea to do this. Okay, so I will stop the recording.